everybody, Mike here. Thanks for watching. Well, you probably haven't seen me for a while. I haven't posted a video in quite some weeks. I've been kind of busy. What I've been working on is a new drone, a new long-range flying machine, and here it is. Let's take a look at it today. It's a new 8-inch machine. What I'm flying here is a naked Blackmagic Cinema camera. The thing is built using the straw hat aerial frame, the 7-inch frame, called the LePigeon, if I pronounce that right. I've got on the 8-inch arms instead of its stock 7-inch. And I'm also using the straw hat aerial naked Blackmagic kit. This kit here takes the Blackmagic camera and tears apart. You tear it apart, take out all the heavy stuff, and you're left with the sensor, lens mount, and then the main camera board. And it reduces the weight significantly. And then it flies a lot better that way. One of the big selling points of this system that Straw Hat Aerial has is when you take apart the Blackmagic camera, you repurpose the touchscreen on it, the LCD touchscreen. And he's got this little cage that you build the screen and the buttons into. And so you can plug this all in before flight, turn on your camera, and you can adjust all your parameters, everything, right here. No messing around with Bluetooth or an app on the phone. You just do it here as if you were seeing the camera. This is great. This allows me to set the focus of the lens. I can look at false colors. I can really dial in the focus. I can play around with ND filters here and get it right. And then you unplug it, start the recording, and fly. So this is worth its weight. I had to figure out how to steady the video. I'm using the GyroFlow software, and it works pretty darn good. It uses the built-in gyro of the camera, or uses that to stabilize the image. I'll show you some video here of it unstabilized and stabilized, and you can see what the difference looks like. Anyways, here's a few shots from this thing. Shows you what it's doing. I'm learning how to color grade this stuff. This color grading this Blackmagic video, this BRAW footage, is a whole nother game. If you've never done it, you can spend years trying to figure it out. So one of the questions is why did you build this Blackmagic camera instead of flying a GoPro? In fact, I had this camera for quite some while. Figured I would might as well repurpose it. And this camera shoots 12-bit color, whereas the GoPro shoots only 8-bit color. Now there's a new GoPro out, the Hero 11, that shoots 10-bit, and that's fine and dandy. But this has got Blackmagic color science. It also has a larger sensor. It's a micro 4/3 sensor. Bigger the sensor, the better the image. And the biggest thing is here, it's got a real lens. Instead of that GoPro lens, this lens is currently flying Laowa 7.5. It's a very nice lens. It's very rectilinear. You can tell from looking at the video that straight lines are straight. They're not curved. They don't have that GoPro look. It also allows me to set all my settings here. I can change my f-stop, and I can also focus this lens. So unlike a GoPro, I've got complete control over this image, which is what you want to do if you're into filmmaking. This camera is a wonderful camera. If you've never used it, it's amazing for its price point. It is, like I said, it shoots 12-bit color. It shoots in RAW video, what's called Blackmagic RAW, which gives you full ability to manipulate this thing in post before it starts tearing down. Like I said, you can control everything on this thing manually. Focus it, and exposure, shutter, white balance. It's a real camera for taking serious cinematography. The issue with stabilizing with this is when you use this camera out of the box and it's all built up, it stabilizes fine in GyroFlow. But when you remount the motherboard of the camera in here, you end up changing it, both flipping it down this way and also turning it. So you end up turning the motherboard in two directions, 90 degrees, compared to what it used to be. So I had to figure out in Gyroflow how to make the adjustments, and there's an adjustment in there called IMU orientation. So for those of you who fly this rig, the trick is to set this camera up for your first flight and have this lens perpendicular 90 degree to the motherboard. Fly it like that at 90 degrees, in other words looking straight out. Then in Gyroflow there's a setting that you can use it to sense the IMU orientation, and it works great if you fly that with that looking straight forward setting. It will then adjust these parameters, these X, Y, Z, and it sets it and changes it to the correct orientation for the IMU. This is the correct orientation for the IMU. Now when I do my post in Gyroflow, I just enter these values or load it from a preset file, and it's gonna stabilize it just fine. You do have to take into account also any up tilt that you might have. Later flights, I've tilted it back 10 degrees. This is adjustable to whatever angle I want. Then you enter that angle in what's called a rotation offset. Enter your angle there, and everything works out like a champ. So, the camera also draws power from the quad. There is a voltage regulator in here. It's I split off the power, run it through a voltage regulator, and then it goes to the camera. And I've got switches to be able to start and stop the camera and start and stop recording before I take off. Currently using a custom-made lithium-ion battery. This is 10,000 milliamp hours. I'm running a 5S 2P battery pack. And what I've done here is I actually have two battery packs, two 5S battery packs built in here using 21 700 cells. There's two packs put together, and then for each pack I wire them together into the 2P configuration, and then they hook into the quad just using XT60s. I'm not drawing a lot of amps. I'm flying at average easy speeds, and I'm drawing about 20 to 30 amps. If I push it hard, I hit maybe 50. These batteries are the I believe they're the Samsung 50S batteries, and individual cells can sustain 25 amps and peak of around 45 peak loads. So in the doubled up configurations, that means I can sustain at 50 amp draw or do some peaks at around 90. And the way I fly, I almost never push it at 50 amps for any length of time. So that's one of the things that I monitor during the flight, is I'll watch the amp draw and how hard I push the motors so I don't overdo the batteries. Yeah, they're the iFlight Xing 3110 motors, and they're 1250 kV. Currently I'm flying the Gemfan 8-inch props. These are the 8040s, 4-inch pitch. These are the reinforced props, the glass reinforced, I believe they call them. And they work pretty well. They're really strong. The thing is a little heavy compared to some quads. You know, it's an 8-inch quad with this battery. The frame itself is 800 grams. The batteries are just under 800 grams. The camera and naked kit, I believe, is just, I can't remember the exact number, but it's just under 600 grams. I'm flying just under 2.2 kilograms here. I think it's 2160 or 2150 grams total, as you see it. That's including an ND filter as well. Yeah, the good thing about this is you can, with this real lens, I can put on real high quality ND filters and really get into some serious image making here. So, oh yeah, worth mentioning, for FPV system, I'm using the HD-Zero system. I've got their 1 watt Freestyle-L VTX. I've got the Foxeer Digisight version 3 camera here. So it all works out well. Looking straight forward, I do not see the props with this lens. So that's quite encouraging when it's aimed straight forward at a 0 tilt angle. camera cage is separated from the frame by a Betagel system that takes up some of the shocks or some of the vibrations, and it works very well. And I've got to tell you, this frame is amazing. It is rock solid. This thing flies perfectly. It's been a little bit of work trying to get this thing airborne. I've had to tune the quad, and I flew it for a while with the GoPro and with weight to emulate this whole build, and it's flying pretty good now. I'm getting about 21 minutes of flight time with this setup, at flying at an easy pace. If I push it hard and do a lot of climbing, I'm getting around 18 minutes, maybe a little bit more. So it's exactly what I want for doing my long-range mountain surfing. I need a few minutes to fly out to the mountain, fly around up there for a little bit, and a few minutes to fly back, so it works out just well. This setup's not for everybody, but I figured, hey, what the heck? Might as well do it. No guts, no glory. So there it is. Thanks for watching. Here's some more video of this thing during its first flights, and we'll have more adventures with this new beast. So it's not a beast, but you know what I mean. Thanks.